Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the movie Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And I didn't like this movie at all. It felt like a complete waste of time. I wouldn't recommend this to people that are into Mission Impossible, into action movies. Oh my god, it is such a goddamn fucking slog of a movie that I'm like, this is what they were doing? I mean, it's like 170 minutes. It's almost 3 hours. And it's like, I saw more clips in this movie of other Mission Impossible movies that they tried to frickin' Frankenstein all of this retconning shit into to make it work within this entity thing. Bringing up this one dude that was part of like Ethan going into steal this kind of list, to the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman where this thing was like the anti-god or whatnot, and it was the AI's like little baby egg thingy. It's like, alright, so we have to find the entity, and it takes so long to try and fucking deal with that stuff, and we have to amp this up to the point where the entity's entire plan is to gain control of all nuclear arsenals, somehow get someone to put it inside of like a doomsday vault and nuke the world. Never mind the fact that towards a portion of the movie, the President of the United States, Angela Bassett, fucking has the idea, oh, why don't we just unplug the fucking thing so that way the thing can't fucking take control of the nuclear arsenal. I'm like, now, we do live in one of the dumbest fucking timelines possible, but I don't know how that wouldn't have gotten into the effect of like, why didn't any of the other countries kind of think of this or whatnot, because we see it's down to like 8 arsenals as we start seeing that the entity's able to kind of take them over. We see that people are supposedly questioning their fucking grasp of reality and having like a death cult with the fucking entity thing, but it just leads to fucking cringe ass old man lines of like, this one dude on a sub is attempting to kill Ethan and he says, "You spend too much time on the internet." That just goes to show who this is pretty much aimed for. Like, older people that just are not connected to anything whatsoever and don't even, like, stop to think. I'm like, that's how a lot of people... The whole concept of the entity and not being able to trust anything on the internet is that the internet became a giant communications hub that allowed people to exchange information at rapid-fire rates. Now it's become this thing where everybody can just be siloed, and it's not just, oh, you spend too much time on the internet. The internet has literally been shitified so much by corporations and governments that it fucked over the promise and everything that was going on in the beginning days. And it's like, oh, okay, but no, it's just linked down to, oh, AI somehow has control over everything, which we essentially just at the end pretty much kick everything off, and it's like, it's supposed to be this like balance of like Ethan's whole kind of thing is, oh, we either let the entity destroy the world or I take the entity down and it takes down the internet, which at the end of the movie it goes down for literally like 5 seconds, the immediate did you turn it off and turn it back on kind of shit of like, I almost rather them, it's like, oh, it's in the internet. It's like, yeah, but you do know that the internet's just a lot of supercomputers just kind of connected together. You could just isolate the motherfucker into certain kind of things and kick the fucking power off, and then fucking magnetron the goddamn thing or whatnot and just wipe the fucker off of it. Because it's pretty much more done as a virus than as a kind of AI, like an actual artificial entity. Where if it's an artificial entity, doing that probably wouldn't fucking do jackass shit. It's just like, alright. So, we have to pretty much get the Sevastopol thing, and evidently Luther was kind of like sick. Doesn't matter, because the movie decides to kill his ass one way, and then reintroduce the same thing that was used to kill him at the end. I'm like, we're already recycling stuff in the same movie? Alright, go for it. This time nobody dies, even though we have like 3 of the most like expendable characters that we could have like at least redshirted for any kind of stakes or whatnot, though I don't advocate for that because that just makes it worthless. Ugh. So mainly it's just Tom Cruise running around a lot. And then some CGI shit that's just kind of fucking stupid. So, this is like 2 months after that. Ethan got pretty much this thing from the president, Erica Sloan, Angela Bassett, being like, yeah, the entity's doing all this kind of shit, just turn yourself in. And then, of course, bringing up the whole poison pill and the malware to take down the entity. Let's see. So, the team has Theo Dagus with them, and Paris, because they're transferring her for some reason. Ethan and Benji pop up and be like, hey, just kind of join us for this shit. And Jasper Briggs is evidently the son of... Let's see. What was it? Like, John Voight's character. Like, I give a shit, but it's like, alright, cool. It's like trying to make you care, but I'm like, those were probably better Mission Impossible movies. Let's see. And the thing is, Gabriel's men capture Ethan and Grace, and he's like, you're going to get me the Podkova thing. It's from the Sevastopol. It's like, was going to go for it anyway, so why the fuck do we even have this? Like, he needs that fucking thing anyway, but you're going to give it to me. It's like, alright, why didn't you just fucking find him afterwards? Alright. Then we see Ethan kind of doing this kind of fight scene. We see a little bit of it, and then Grace kind of gets pulled to the side, and then literally we just see her reacting to Ethan supposedly beating the holy shit and killing these motherfuckers. I'm like, this is... This is kind of stupid to me, because this is an action franchise. If we've gotten to the point where it's like, oh, you can use your imagination to kind of do it, it's like, sure. But when you literally make an action movie that really doesn't have that much engaging action, and you take the little bit that you can have, it's just, what are you doing? I'm like, fine, whatever. As they're chasing after Gabriel, and the entity's like, you want to control me? Fuck you, bitch! And Gabriel still is able to kind of like get away from him, but then they see his fucking little pod thing, and it's Ethan's like, I'm gonna talk to this fucking thing, and it's like, watch out, because nothing that shows you will be real. It's like, just do this shit and save my ass. Beep boop, beep boop. Then, of course, tell him about Luther. He races to help Luther, but Gabriel gets there before him, kills kills Luther's nurse, which seems like a pretty big kind of fucking security thing, but fucking reasons, and sets him to like disarming this bomb. And Luther's like, listen, I can make it so that way the yield doesn't go up, but the detonator's going to explode, and that's going to kill my ass, so get the fuck out, Ethan. And Ethan gets the fuck out. We try, and he's like, there's gotta be a way, Kobayashi Maru kind of shit. Let's see. Then he's taken to the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. This, of course, bringing up the whole thing. We see Kittredge is objecting. Let's see. But he tells the president, just let me do this thing to kill this motherfucker. Where we're getting some trying to go, let's control it or figure out what the fuck's kind of doing. And they're like, don't trust his motherfucking ass. It's like, alright. And it almost seemed like they were kind of setting it up for Ethan to be kind of the head of the IMF at the end of this, which I thought would have been more of an interesting kind of one to kind of transition him out, as he was tasking Benji with pretty much being the kind of team lead of dealing with certain kinds of things, which was an interesting kind of choice. However, nothing really much comes out of it other than Benji kind of getting shot at one point and then just walking Grace through. Their whole thing was to... Okay. So, he has to go in and get the Podkova, which is kind of interesting. However, he talks them through. He has to deal with Septa Unella from Game of Thrones, the Shame Woman. I know it's weird, but most of them I'm just like, whatever. That he needs an aircraft carrier to then fly him out to a submarine, drop him in the ocean, because they're going analog. Scuba people pop up and tase his ass in the water, and then they have to pretty much get to the get in the Bering Sea near St. Matthew Island, where his other team has figured out using this kind of triangulation thing from 2012 to triangulate where the Sevastopol went down and showcase. They send the coordinates reversed because the Russians are there first and we're gonna take this shit, bitch. And we have their that fight scene was pretty interesting. Seeing Paris using her guns and everything like that, and fighting all around Vegas, try to do his best as well. But there's so much going on that's almost noise in the background. Grace is flying off with this one dude's wife. They beat up the one Russian dude that's sent to guard them. But then they go off on a thing. They got a decompression thing because his whole thing is to go down to the sub, pretty much freeze, so that way they can revive his ass and decompress him in the chamber because of going up so fast. Whatever, you wrote yourself into this fucking corner. Fucking just deal with it. So Tom Cruise bully buzzed around in the submarine, is able to get the Podkova, launches himself out of a torpedo tube, but not before taking off his suit that he has to, and then, of course, losing his oxygen thing, freezing, and then Grace is able to pull his ass out and put him in the fucking decompressing chamber. God. Yeah. So their whole thing to defeat the entity is to get this, link it up with the poison pill, and utilize some kind of 5D storage cube to Pokeball this motherfucker and be done with it. They need Gabriel to do it for some reason, but I mean, we get a biplane, a propeller plane kind of chase thing at the end that facilitates between real stuff and CGI stuff that just looks stupid. It's not completely bad, but you can tell it's fucking CGI and just alright, whatever. So they pretty much get to the bunker and Gabriel ambushes them, but Kittredge interrupts their players he needs to take it. So then we get them chasing and of course the whole plane kind of thing. But we get Paris, Grace, and Benji pretty much going to the mainframe to do the trap. Sloane was pretty much tasked with... Their whole thing was that, ma'am, launch a preemptive strike against the entity, take out all the other nuclear stuff, and pick some kind of American city to be a sacrificial thing. I'm okay. Most of them would probably have some kind of monitoring thing, and they'd be okay, if the U.S. took out pretty much all the other nuclear capabilities before they were able to launch, wouldn't you be you kind of nuked your own city, so that kind of defeats the purpose of doing it as a sacrifice kind of thing, to be we didn't do it! We didn't do this thing! See, we also kind of blew up one of our own kind of things. It was the entity. I'm if the entity had all the other ones, why the fuck didn't it just fucking crack your ass, bitch? You understand how it kind of is going, but it's just in such a way that's no. You'd have to somehow fucking have another nuke at some other kind of part to even try and be see, it was entity controlled. To even have any kind of plausible deniability. I mean, yeah, if you're going through a nuclear winter for the rest of the whole entire world, it's going to be a little bit be I don't give a shit. I kind of don't want to be irradiated and fucking want to eat and shit like that. But it's if you still have nuclear launch capabilities, fuck you, motherfucker, I'm going to crack your ass. It just, whatever. And then she's just kick the fucking thing off. But then an assassin's no! And kills Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec. And we get pretty much the stupidest thing. Gabriel's got the poison pill, so that's why kind of Ethan was chasing after his ass. And then he's ha ha! And then fucking tries to leave off, and then gets his face cracked in by the tail of the plane. But then Tom Cruise is able to kind of get down on the ground, is able to insert the poison pill. Grace is able to do all this kind of stuff as Benji is being worked on by Paris and has his lung pretty much reinflated before he passes out. And they capture the entity thing. He listens to Luther's farewell thing after self-destruct and makes amends with the Jim Phelps dude. And then we just see them kind of looking at each other at London and then just going away. It's like, this is the final reckoning. This is one of the ones of, like, supposing, like, to end the franchise. I'm like, wow. If I was more invested, I'd be even more pissed. Whereas this, I'm just like, okay, I saw it. I'm like, alright, I saw the last one. Let's see what's kind of going on with this one. I had heard bad things about it, but I'm like, holy fucking shit. It felt like such a waste of time. And that they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. It really felt like a committee level kind of thing of probably too many cooks in the kitchen. And just, you need ebbs and flows with your action scenes and everything like that. When you're doing a spy thriller, you have to be able to do your cat and mouse, your ups and downs, your flows throughout the movie. And this just didn't have it. Our stakes are at world ending here. And I couldn't give two shits more. I couldn't give two shits and a handbasket for this going on. I'm just like, alright, y'all seem fucking stupid, so go on. I mean, granted, in this timeline, if you're trying to do some kind of shit, sure, that would go on the same kind of realm. But on this, I was like, you guys are doing the stupidest fucking shit, but go for it. Because there's, like, crazy ass shit that would probably not work, and just fucking flowing with it because the plot demands that we have to do this shit, because everything I went through when I was going in order felt like the movie had started at this end point and had to try and work its way back to make it kind of work, which is a first for me. Plot demands certain kind of things, sure, but seeing the plot demand that, like, if we want this, we gotta go here, we gotta go here, we gotta go here, it's like, oh, seeing it in that kind of backwards kind of way just kind of, like, broke my brain. And I'm just like, nah, there's better ones out there. Better Mission Impossibles, better action thriller movies, better action movies, character, plot, world building. It's just the barest minimum. Like, in school, like in elementary school, we were tasked with, like, writing our own kind of creative stories at certain kind of intervals. And yeah, you'd pretty much utilize stuff to, like, inspire you or whatnot, seeing certain kind of shows around. But this, I've seen more creativity out of that stuff than this, when this is, like, professional production level stuff. The content sucks. I don't know why they're directing certain things certain ways. I don't know what their objectives are, other than to just be like, it's a movie. I'm like, yes, but I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy kind of shit. It's like, what? Now, is this on a level where I would use it in a kind of a torture kind of thing to show someone? No. Like, it's like, watch this horse shit. It's more just like, you wasted my time, motherfucker. Honestly. Like, I'm not getting that back, but fuck. Yes, there have been worse ones, but that gap is not as big as they would want you to believe. Ugh. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to Impossible fans, anybody that's into action movies, really anybody that are just into movies. It's just a waste of time. And even if you need something on in the background, for the love of fuck, find something better. Just something that you enjoy and you could just quote. Or even on the level of where it's like one of your favorite movies and you're doing something and you're trying to be like, okay, you hear this, is this at this part? Yeah, testing yourself on if you can just figure out what part of the movie you're at by listening from certain kind of stuff, which you can do it like Hocus Pocus, A Christmas Story, anything like that. So, yeah. This one was a motherfucker. So those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.